Well, I started in Florida. I started over in the Fort Lauderdale area. Worked for a little dive outfit called Aqueous. And from there, I came over to Florida, from Florida to Louisiana to make my million in the diving industry. Fortunately, that million never came to fruition, but I'm still having fun with it. When I came here first, the diving company I worked for was called S&H Diving. Actually, their little emblem is on my shirt. I still honor them. They were formed by Jack Smith. Jack has since passed away, may he rest in peace, but he was a great mentor and a great leader. So I'm proud to say I worked for Jack Smith for the first probably 6 years in my diving industry. I started out as a tender, went through the ranks as a commercial diver, and worked my way up to superintendent. From S&H, I went to a company called K&D Marine Diving. I worked for them for probably a year before they were bought up by Martech. So I became a Martech employee from that point forward. I also worked for a little company out of Florida called Spearman Marine Construction. I did a one-off job for them in between jobs with S&H and Martech. But they were the experience in Florida was not as satisfying as it was back in the Gulf of Mexico, so I came back. So I've been working Gulf of Mexico primarily for all total I had 10 years in the offshore experience and then another 30 years working in the offices there in Houston. Well, before I retired, I was working for a company. Just before that, I was working for Tetra Technologies, and they had a diving company that they had bought at that time, was called Epic Divers. So I worked for Epic Divers probably for about 3 years maybe. After the buyout, I went ahead and took an offer from an ROV contractor, which was called Surf Subsea. And I worked for Surf Subsea right up until the BP spill, which was the moratorium that Obama had placed on the industry. And that shut down our company and it shut down our industry pretty much for that situation. I guess that was our slap on the wrist for getting 11 personnel killed on the BP blowout, unfortunately. And after that, I thought it was time to leave the industry because it didn't look like it was ever going to come back. I think it has somewhat, and now with the new administration, hopefully it'll flourish again. But we've taken a black eye in the industry over the last 8 years, so it's been a rather rough run for those guys that are young and coming. You know, the guys in this industry are having to pay a heavy price for what happened the first time around with the BP moratorium. And that BP moratorium has hurt us worse than anything we've had in the history of the offshore industry. There's probably a whole laundry list of those that I'm really proud of that I got to work in. Everything from mud hole jobs right down to the deepest dives I made. Live boating in 500 foot of water. Those were exciting jobs and exciting times. They don't do much of that anymore because of the safety factor. We were a little dumb back in those days, and we were the guinea pigs in that era. So most of those jobs are probably jobs you can't speak of today because it slants a bad light on the industry back in those times when we lost so many divers due to the risk that were involved in deep water live boating procedures and things of that nature. But it's made for a better and safer industry. So that's the good that came out of all that. But we sure lost a lot of good guys along the way. And that's the unfortunate part. To name a few, I got to work up in Kentucky, working on a dam up there in the early 70s. It was 73. We worked on the Cumberland Dam up there, and that was exciting for me because I was able to do some freshwater diving and enjoy a different style of diving because we got to work in the snow. I never got to do that before. So we called that drag up dust back in the day, but it was exciting doing that kind of work. So I've had a wide variety of work, not just oil field. When you get plugged into the world of commercial diving, you kind of slant your position to the direction you want to go. Most of mine was right here in the Gulf of Mexico. We had a lot of guys that liked working over in the North Sea. Some of them paid their way to get over there, and they hired on with the diving company over in that region. so they've got some North Sea experience, and most of that was sat. Everything they did typically in the North Sea was saturation diving. So they got a wealth of experience in saturation. You know, my advice is to pick and choose the companies first and foremost. You may want to consider coming into a company that'll take you, there's no shortcuts, first of all. Everybody has a glamour of becoming a commercial diver from the time they step in. That waiting period is typically about a 2-year effort to try to achieve the position from a tender to actually becoming a diver in the field. And I don't think you should shortchange that time period. I think there's great education in becoming a good tender and then working your way up into becoming a breakout diver, and then becoming, as you grow in the position of the industry, you've got ample opportunity to become the kind of diver you want. And whether it's a superintendent or just remain as a lead diver on projects, they're all great opportunities. There's a lot to pick and choose from. Yeah.
Well, you got anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, that's if I had life to do over again, I'd do the same thing. Go back to diving. That's where I'd start out at.